Next, we can see what is modulo p multiplication. So this modulo p multiplication is same as that of modulo m addition. In case of modulo m addition, we are taking the remainder of I plus j by m. So in modulo p multiplication, we can take I into remainder of I into j by p. So the number of elements in the set is p. So we can take modulo p multiplication as remainder of I into j by p. So this ranges between 0 to p minus 1 or from 0 to p. So we can see how we can find this modulo p multiplication table. So our example is construct modulo 5 multiplication table. So p is 5 here. So we have number of elements as from 0 to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So total of 5 elements. Then we can take 0 to 4 as column elements and 0 to 4 row elements, and we can represent the operation as modulo p multiplication. Then 0 into 0, we need to take remainder of I into j by p. So remainder of 0 into 0 by 5. 0 into 0 is 0 by 5. It is 0 itself. Next is 0 into 1 by 5, again 0. For 0 element, if you have any one element is 0, then modulo p multiplication, the result becomes 0 only. So first row, we have all the elements are 0. Next we can say first column is also 0. So we need to check the remaining term only. So 1 into 1, remainder of 1 into 1 by p. 1 into 1 is 1 by p is 5. So remainder of 1 into 1 by 5 is 1 itself. So you need to check whether I into j is less than p. Then if it is I into j is less than p, then the remainder is I into j itself. If I into j is equal to p, then the remainder is 0. If I into j is greater than p, then the remainder is I into j minus p. So we can say that 1 into 1, that is less than 5. So 1 is the remainder, 1 into 2, 2 is the remainder, 1 into 3, 3 is the remainder, 1 into 4, 4 is the remainder, and 2 into 1, 2 is the remainder, 2 into 2, 4 is the remainder, 2 into 3, 6, that is greater than 5. Then the remainder is 6 minus 5, that is 1. 2 into 4, 8, 8 minus 5 is 3. Next 3 into 1, 3, 3 into 2, 6, 6 minus 5 is 1, 3 into 3, 9 minus 5 is 4, 3 into 4, 12 minus 5, 12 minus 5 is 7, again it is greater than 5, so 7 minus 5 we need to do, so it is 2. So if it is greater than 5, then you need to one more time you need to reduce that value. So 7 minus 5 is 2. Next 4 into 1, 4, 4 into 2, 6, 6 minus 5 is 3, 4 into 3, 12, 12 minus 5 is 7, 7 minus 5 is 2. Then 4 into 4, 16, 16 minus 5 is 11, 11 minus 5 is 6, 6 minus 5 is 1. So the remainder is 1. So that's the multiplication table. Next we can check whether it is satisfying closure property. So we can say that every element belongs to this set only. So we can say that it is satisfying the closure property. Next we can check associative property. So you can take A equal to 2, B equal to 3, C equal to 4. Then A operated on B operated on C should be equal to A operated on B operated on C. So we can see that 2 modulo p multiplication 3 is 6. 6 modulo p multiplication 4 is 6 into 4 is 24. 2 into 2 operated on 3 is 1. That is 2 into 3 by 5. Remainder of 2 into 3 by 5 is 6 by 5. That is 1. 1 operated on 4 is 4 itself. Similarly, 2 operated on 3 into 4. 3 into 4 is 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 7 minus 5 is 2. So 2 into 2, 2 operated on 2 is 4. So you can find that these two are equal. Then it's satisfying associativity property. Next we can find whether there is an identity element is existing or not. That means A operated on E should be A itself. So we can say that 0 operated on E should be 0 itself. 1 operated on E should be equal to 1. 2 operated on E should be 2. 3 operated on E should be 3. 4 operated on E should be 4. So 0, remainder of 0 into something divided by P should be equal to 0. So we know that 0 into 1 is 0, 1 into 1 is 1, 2 into 1, remainder is remainder of 2 into 1 by 5 is 2, remainder of 3 into 1 by 5 is 3, remainder of 4 into 1 by 5 is 4. So we can say that the identity element is 1. So remember, for addition the identity element is 0, and for multiplication the identity element is 1. Next we can see what is the inverse property. So according to inverse property, it says that A operated on A inverse should be E. That means 0 operated on 0 inverse should be 1, and 1 operated on 1 inverse should be 1, and 2 operated on 2 inverse should be 1, 3 operated on 3 inverse should be 1, 4 operated on 4 inverse should be 1. So we, to find easily this, you can round all the ones in the table. So you can easily find what is 1 inverse. So 1 inverse is 1 itself, 2 inverse is 3 itself, 3 inverse is 2 itself, 4 inverse is 4. So for non-zero elements only there exists inverse, for 0 element there is no inverse. So we can say that it is a group. For non-zero elements only we need to check the inverse. So we can say that it is a group. Next we can check whether this set of elements satisfying commutativity property. So for that we can take A equal to 2, B equal to 3, because both 2 and 3 are included in that set of elements. So we can see what is A operated on B and B operated on A. If they are equal, then we can say that it is a commutative group. So first A operated on B is remainder of 2 into 3 by 5, so that is 1, and B operated on A is remainder of 3 into 2 by 5, that is also 1. 3 into 2 is 6 by 5, remainder is 1. So we can say that A operated on B is equal to B operated on A. So we can say that it is a commutative group. So this way we can identify whether a set of element forms a group and that group is a commutative group. So more problems we can see later. So this way we can find the modulo P addition and modulo P multiplication. So in next video we can see what is ring and what are the properties of a ring.